There's a lot to talk about in terms of what's gone on in the last year. So this is the year in review, I guess. What I thought about this. What I think is remarkable about 2017 is how much it was like 2016. Now, I recognize that during the Trump administration, there have been significant changes on policy issues, ranging, obviously, they had the big tax cut and regulatory or deregulation, which is all good from a conservative perspective. But on the issues that I think Americans really are concerned about in terms of the way Washington works and conducts itself, there's been zero change. In some ways, it's gotten a bit worse. Transparency's gotten worse. The failure to address these corruption issues has gotten worse. In many ways, it's gotten significantly worse. And it needs to be addressed. Now, how has the transparency gotten worse? As I said, they've actually slowed the release of emails and records about Hillary Clinton during this administration. They're fighting us tooth and nail in court on all sorts of Clinton accountability issues. But the most significant development is the continued politicization of our Justice Department, our FBI, and our intelligence agencies to target those who are in political disfavor. And I'm not talking about Tea Party activists, as what was done under Obama with the Obama IRS. I'm talking about President Trump. Yes, he's in political disfavor for the establishment and the deep state, and it began during the Obama administration, and it's continuing today. He's being targeted for either prosecution or removal from office, utilizing improperly our security apparatus in terms of counterintelligence, and the FBI and the Justice Department to try to bring him down. We saw the spying and the unmasking during the Obama administration, and we saw the machinations of James Comey, the former FBI director, who illicitly leaked information in order to get his buddy Robert Mueller appointed as special counsel to investigate what, we're still not sure. And this continues to this day. And the president was just quoted this week as saying he thinks Mr. Mueller is going to treat him fairly. He says there's no collusion, which is right. There's no evidence there was any improper collusion or even improper collusion between the campaign and the Russians. There is evidence there was collusion between Hillary Clinton and the Russians. Of course, that's not being investigated. So to me, this is a serious threat to our constitutional republic. And it's not about whether you like President Trump or not, or agree or disagree with his policies. You know, no one is above the law, and that's Judicial Watch's motto, because no one's above the law. The inverse of that is no one is below the protection of the law. And we don't say, well, we don't like that guy, so we're just going to appoint a prosecutor to figure out if he did anything wrong. That's what they do in the Soviet Union, or did in the Soviet Union, and probably still do in Russia. You target a man, and then you find the crime, as opposed to having evidence of a crime and then trying to figure out who's responsible. So there's a real crisis, and it continues. And the administration and the president, and metaphorically speaking, can click his heels 3 times and bring it all to an end. He obviously can remove Mueller, which will have its own ramifications. But as importantly, he can order the release of information about what's gone on. The unmaskings, the dossier, the targeting of Flynn, Mueller's cover-up of the FBI special agent on his staff who was sending these anti-Trump messages. The idea that Andrew Weissman, the number 2 of Mueller's operation, what was he up to? Because he was an anti-Trumper too, it looks like. Certainly he was a supporter of Hillary Clinton. So all this information, and Judicial Watch has sued, by my count, I went and counted just the other day, we have at least 25 federal Freedom of Information Act lawsuits trying to get information about the corruption of the FBI and Justice Department during the Clinton investigation and during the Trump investigation and how the Mueller operation's being run. And I can guarantee you, there's no one else in Washington doing that sort of heavy lifting. Congress is, thank God, Congressman Nunes, the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House, he's trying to bring pressure to bear. But he's not getting sufficient support from House leadership. Senator Grassley in the Senate is trying to do some good work there too. But no one is in court the way Judicial Watch is. I mean, we're the ones who uncovered the fact that Andrew Weissman, the number 2 at Mueller's operation, was sending an email to Sally Yates, the Obama holdover who was acting Attorney General, who thwarted unbelievably, illegally, and unethically President Trump's initial travel bans. And what did Weissman do? He sent an email saying how much he was in awe of her for doing that. This guy's number 2? Why isn't he recused? It's funny, Jeff Sessions has to recuse himself, but you can do whatever you want in terms of supporting Hillary Clinton, and you don't have to recuse yourself in the Justice Department as long as you're targeting Donald Trump. So that's the story of 2017. This hijacking of our law enforcement agencies in the effort to get Trump. And we need some serious investigations of the misconduct involved there. We need a special counsel for the special counsel, as I half-jokingly say. But we're not going to wait for the Justice Department to act, because Jeff Sessions has put himself in a corner because he recused himself. Rod Rosenstein is either complicit or oblivious to the mess he's made and the lawlessness he tolerates out of Mueller's operation. And this is why you need independent groups like Judicial Watch to do this key work. So what can we look for in 2018? Well, are we going to find out what went on with the dossier? Were there payments? Are we going to find out about the unmaskings, which could be in the hundreds? Unmaskings being they're monitoring foreign nationals without warrants. They don't need warrants to monitor foreign nationals' intelligence gathering. And if Americans are caught up or heard, talked about, or they're being talked with, certain individuals can unmask that information because it helps them figure out whether the intelligence is useful or not. Well, the request for unmaskings went through the roof, and it looked like it was because they were trying to figure out how it is they could spy on the Trump team. And that's what they were doing with the unmaskings. This is what the Obama gang was doing. So we're going to find out information about that. We're going to find out information about the dossier, the Hillary Clinton paid for dossier. Is Hillary Clinton going to be investigated for her Russia collusion? Remember, that dossier was created with campaign funds of Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, and they went and talked to Russian intelligence, supposedly. So Hillary Clinton pays money to someone to go collaborate with Russian intelligence to get dirt on Donald Trump, and Trump is the one investigated for collusion? By all standards, she needs a special counsel, assuming we're going to have one investigating Russia collusion. So that's going to be the test in 2018. And there's going to be then the transparency test. I've told the White House time and time again, both publicly and privately here and again, that they need to have a transparency approach to governance. I call it extreme transparency. The president talks about extreme vetting. How about extreme transparency? Expose what went on during the Obama years, and expose what's going on now with the deep state. So those are opportunities for accountability, and it would be a great way to drain the swamp. And plus, all we're asking for is the law be followed, because we're asking for these records, as I point out, in federal court. Just follow the law, release the records. The president needs to exercise his ability to do that, because I don't think the agencies are going to do it on their own.